Welcome to the main event, episode number 18. Jason Carter along with Steve McCollum.
Hello, hello.
And it is a beautiful, beautiful day to be recording the podcast once again, Steve. Man, I'm still just shock and awe about our weekend. That we had a great racing weekend, which we will hear more about later on.
Yeah.
Just make sure you subscribe to the Racing with Jason podcast.
Yes.
Cheap plug. They're not giving us any money.
No, I know that the Jason guy is pretty cheap.
True story, but hey, we are linked up to Patreon, so we do want everybody to follow us on the main event.
Yes.
Main Event Pod on Twitter. You can follow me also on Twitter at JasonCarter03. Follow Steve at SMac500. Also check us out on Facebook at the Main Event Podcast as well.
And the website is live.
Yes, gestaltproduction.com. We are on there, and you can type in the Main Event Podcast.com, and you can just check out all the podcast stuff. If you want to watch some pretty cool videos, make sure you go to gestaltproduction.com, see what we're all about.
And you don't need apps to go to the website and listen.
Nope, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It just plays right there for you. So, hope you do all that. Anyway, Steve, how was your week? Did I get it all out? Got it all out?
Good. Other than Saturday night with the autocross that we'll talk about in the other podcast, which was really exciting, people.
Hey, you just said good, other than Saturday night. And then you said, but that was really exciting.
Well, I guess I'm not ready to start talking yet. So, Saturday night was fun. I guess I should say at the autocross. Other than that, went and saw a movie, Jurassic World. So that was good.
Yeah, you went and saw Tag last week too.
Tag. And I saw Incredibles 2 with the kids last week.
Wow, 3 movies.
I know, in a week.
They know crazy. You at the IMAX now, right?
Well, I didn't do IMAX. I won't pay for that crap. Yeah, right. All 3 different movie theaters, ironically enough. So you always got to mix it up. You can't go to the same one for various reasons on there. But other than that, no, just hung out and got to watch that autocross race a few times while editing it and putting it up and everything. And it actually was one of the best racing experiences I've ever seen.
You just get excited about it every time you watch it.
I know. It's hilarious. You see different things every time.
Right.
So yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, so that was definitely great. We're going to talk about that on the Racing with Jason podcast. So do get that. Also, make sure you check us out. We are in iTunes now with this podcast. Did get an email from Spotify. They say we're on there. The link I clicked did not work, so I'll figure out what's going on with
them. I can't find it in the search, so we'll have it up hopefully the next day or two. They say it's there.
They say it's there, but we haven't found it yet. But as soon as that gets up there, we will get on there. So once again, thank you for listening on however you're listening to your podcast. No, I was just going to say, when it comes to movie theaters, I got to be careful about when I go to movies these days, what time of the day it is. Because if I go too late and you get that one that has the nice couch, I'm falling asleep.
It's worse than that. You can go at 11 o'clock in the morning, which I've done. And I saw Deadpool 2. I saw that at 11 in the morning, and I fell asleep in that one.
Did you drink wine?
No. It's you just sit there and you you relax back. It's dark in there. It was Memorial Day weekend. It was on Monday, so we had that 2-night race event.
Yeah.
Late night Saturday, late night Sunday, and then I got up and went to an 11. I went up, met breakfast.
Yeah, because
and then went straight to
I
the movies.
Thought I had to work, but I didn't have to work Memorial Day. I have to work 4th of July.
Yeah.
Suckers got me.
So I was sitting there, and I was out at one point. Deadpool 2 was not exciting for me. If there was any dead parts on it, that's just the key. Is you're absolutely right. It's just amazing. Those chairs are just. When I went and saw Tag at that iPic movie theater. That was even nicer than
Oh yeah, I've been there once. Yeah,
it's that was even. I stayed awake for that one, but I took a long nap that day. But that theater was. I could see myself just buying a ticket just to cuddle up in a chair for 2 hours.
And now, man, gosh, remember back in the movie theater, it just smelled like popcorn. Now it just smells like cheap booze because everybody has wine you can buy now, and you can get a craft beer, you get a Blue Moon at the movie theater, a pizza.
People walk in with pizza, nachos, and I know I can't stand it.
I remember a few years ago I went and saw. What was the movie? I think it was We're the Millers. Was that coming out 2 years ago? Was that it? I don't even know.
Actually, I haven't seen it yet.
No, it was the Vacation movie. It was when the Vacation movie came out. Me and Bree went and saw it.
So you're not a child rapist? It just stares out.
And we actually snuck our own beer in. She had the big purse, so we just brought a whole bunch of Bud Light in. Now you can just buy it there. So the price was a little ridiculous, so I just sneak it in anyways, right?
That's the thing with the movie theaters, but you know, there's something still about the movie theater experience that I know everybody's getting home theaters, but for certain movies, like Jurassic World, you have to see in the theater, I think. And I'm probably going to go see it with the kids this weekend because they want to see it. But I mean, I feel like you have to see those in a movie theater because I don't care how big your TV is, you're not going to get the same effect.
I've been in Fort Worth. They used to have this, I probably still do it, called the Omni Theater. Have you been to one of those?
It sounds familiar. I don't
so
think I
like
have,
you sit down and the theater is just like this giant bubble screen like that sits around you. Like it's awesome, right? So like, it starts off at the Omni. Everything starts off with like this helicopter ride. You're like, oh my god, I'm about to fall and like die.
Yeah.
Then it lands somewhere in like Dallas. Like, oh, here we are. But then I
those
remember
things make me sick.
We used to go there on field trips, and they had this really awesome, actually, Michael Jordan like documentary type thing that came out. So it was like pretty cool seeing that like in the Omni Theater with just like right in your face. You felt like Jordan was like sweating on you from the flu game. Like, oh my god, this is so awesome.
Well, that's like Universal Studios. When me and the kids went there earlier, like I got sick on a couple rides. I said that in the review and then in our podcast talking about it. I got sick because they have those bubble screens. It's all animated and everything, and it just
was it the 3D ones where like the seats move? See, this one the seats don't move.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you just sit there. Yeah. You're moving and whatever, and it's just a couple of them I literally thought I was going to throw up, and I don't get motion sickness, and I was just like closing my eyes, like don't throw up everywhere, don't throw up everywhere.
I always loved it when I worked at Six Flags over Texas back when I was a teenager, and it was right by the SpongeBob 3D experience.
Yes.
And there would always be like kids come out there puking and stuff just because it was like motion and it's 3D, so stuff. And they would actually they would spray you down with bubbles and stuff inside there.
Yeah,
like
that's like the Minions ride at Universal Studios. That was the worst one I experienced. The Simpsons one was bad, where like 2 seconds into that one, I was like, this is not going to end well for the people sitting in front of me. It was like right at the beginning. So I missed out that ride. My eyes were shut. And I was just like, keep it together.
Not doing it.
But then the Minions, it's the same thing. It's 3D, and then you sit in these chairs and you bounce around. And Minions bounce and whatever. Oh, it was bad. I was just like, ooh. Luckily, nobody was sitting in front of me on that one, so they would have been okay. But that's the thing with those big screens. And like the problem with IMAX is a lot of regular movies aren't made for IMAX, so they just stretch them out.
Yeah.
Because like we had the opportunity to see Invincibles 2 in IMAX because we were trying to squeeze it into Showtime for other things we had going on.
Invincibles or Incredibles?
And, sorry, Incredibles. Did I say Invincibles? I was like, I don't want to see that on an IMAX because they're just going to stretch out the animation and then I'm not going to like it as well. You can see I saw The Matrix 2 in IMAX back in the day, like midnight screening, and it was the worst experience of my life, and I hate that movie to this day. But the reason why is because it was so stretched out that you could see when it went from live action to the computerized fighting.
Oh, you can totally tell the pixels and stuff in there?
Because the screen was so big, you could literally see Keanu Reeves' face turn and Mr. Smith's faces. And I hate that movie to this day, and I saw it later, not on that big screen, and you can't tell. But it's just because it was on an IMAX screen, and I hate that movie to this day because a lot of that was, it wasn't seamless because of the size of the screen. And
what movie I want to see in IMAX? Creed 2.
They had a preview on that before Jurassic World. I got all excited. I was going to text you like, dude,
check it out. It's out. Oh my gosh. I watched the.
Can you ruin the preview, or is that bad?
No, you can ruin the preview. Like, if you haven't seen the preview yet, watch the preview because it's awesome. Yes. You're going to see the preview regardless. I watched it from the comfort of my toilet the other day.
Well, we were talking before. Where were we before? And I was like,
we were at Buffalo Wild Wings eating, and then we were driving back. I was like, I don't watch it here. I want to get the full effect.
Yeah, because I was like, you gotta watch the Creed 2 trailer, man. It's so awesome.
So I had the echoey of my bathroom while I was getting rid of some Buffalo Wild Wings.
And I heard a lot of screaming and stuff, so that was from the Creed trailer?
No, that was actually before I started watching it.
There's something about those movies that just give you goosebumps, the way they do the trailers. Like, it's just motivational, I guess you can say.
Well, Rocky's always been motivational.
I know, but it seems like the Creed trailers are even more so. Because even in this one,
because now they're more like updated motivational. Yeah. Like remember, like Rocky, like we're just regular Joes, right? But whenever you watch Rocky, you think like, man, I want to go fucking box. Like
I want to go do. Well, I don't know about boxing because I know what that takes, but you just feel like running through a wall or whatever. And I used to have to do like promotion stuff for a previous life, for like meetings and whatever. And I've used a lot of Rocky clips in my day, and that in those clips and everything. But just the way these previews are, like just watching this preview, and Rocky's all, guys like me live in the past. You have a lot to live for, and he's like, you don't think I can beat him? And I'm just like, let's go.
And then they show the robe at the end, and it says Drago.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. I want to see.
Well, it starts off with him in the hospital too, so he obviously gets beat up pretty.
Yeah. So it looks like he got his ass kicked at some point, and then he does the whole motivational thing with Rocky, and then has Rocky, at his grave looking at. I don't know if he's looking at Apollo's grave or at his wife's grave.
Rocky sits at his wife's grave. He goes and sees her all the time. So Rocky was sitting at his wife's grave, but then Creed goes to his dad's grave.
Yeah, every year on his birthday he goes and sees her. Yeah. At least that's what we found out in Rocky. Yeah. What he does, and he has the chair, and Paulie is in there. Creed. Did he do it in Creed too?
Yeah, he did it in Creed. Okay. Yeah.
Because I remember in Rocky he did it. I mean, he had Paulie and was going with him.
And then Paulie died, so then he was going by himself.
Fight. When's Creed gonna fight Mason Dixon?
I don't know. Will they cross over like that?
Like, are they going to cross it over? I mean, you already have Rocky. Maybe Mason's like, no, I can still go, or something like that. I don't know.
We'll see. I don't know where else it can go. Like, I was surprised they brought it. Like I said, that was the shock.
I thought it was pretty early because we were talking. I was like, oh man, like this is going to be hype now. But the thing that I didn't really like about Creed 1, so the Rocky movies, you go back to them, Rocky 1 and 2. It was like telling the story of not just Rocky, but also Apollo. It told the story of Apollo as well.
Yes.
And then, like, you fell in love with Apollo in 1 and 2. And then in 3, he, came back to train Rocky, so he was still there. And then in Rocky 4, he died.
Did you fall in love with... I don't think you fell in love with Creed till 2.
I think at the end of 2, you're like, oh, man, because he was like...
turn on him, yeah.
Oh, man, like, great fight.
1, you didn't like him. 1, 2, you were like...
He was like, there ain't going to be no rematch, or whatever.
He came off as cocky, but 2...
But then the start of 2, he's like... I just remember, like, the opening scene, that ambulance driving up. Like, why the hell's their ambulance not at the freaking arena? Who knows? But he, he drives up, and then he's out there yelling at the reporters, like, I told that chump, I told him, There's going to be a rematch. He's like, you said there ain't going to be no rematch. He's like, shut up, chump.
And then 3 trains him, in the thing. We talked about that before, right?
And then in 4, he dies, but you fell in love with Apollo.
That's why Creed's so good, is because, he found out it's his kid from a different wife or whatever. And he's got the same skills there. That's why actually I like the way that movie's going, is because, you have that Creed. Like, you're rooting for this kid because he is Creed's kid,
Oh, yeah.
And you're hoping he's good, or at least as good or better, than Creed was and everything.
But the thing is, it doesn't, like, build up another guy or something. I don't know.
We don't know that yet. The first one had to be building up Creed.
Yeah,
true. Because he was a no-name. Nobody knew he was... Remember, he was hiding who he was.
Right, yeah.
And then the guy he fought at the end was...
And then he finally said, this is my name.
Yeah, remember the guy said the only way we'll fight him is if he comes out as Creed, because he wanted the extra production.
Right.
Then the guy ended up losing his title fight or whatever. So the one was setting it all up. Now they're going to start up that... I'm sure they'll start up an antagonist type thing on that,
Are they going to do, like, the crossover? Remember in Rocky 3 when they had Hulk Hogan on it? Or we're going to get, like, John Cena versus Creed?
I knew they were filming it, but I knew nothing about it. That's what I said when I saw the trailer. It was like, the whole trailer, I was into it. And then the end I was like, ah!
Oh, yeah.
And I can't remember where I watched it. I think it was here. But I was someplace watching. I was like, Jason's going to see this.
Dude, wake up.
Can't remember what I was doing or where I was, but I was like, oh my God, the ending. I mean, even at Buffalo Wild Wings, I was like trying so hard not to tell you how it ended. Because I was just like, oh my God. Yeah, it was pretty funny. So, that's not till November. So
Thanksgiving Day. I already know what I'm doing.
You got to keep your excitement down for that, so...
I didn't realize how big the movies were on, like, Thanksgiving and Christmas. I didn't realize how many people, like, actually went to the movie theaters.
There's nothing else to do on Thanksgiving. Hang out with your family.
Watch football. That's always been like
most
the thing.
Most of the games suck during the day. The first 2 games, but they usually suck. But you watch the first 2 games, then they started that Thursday
the third game
night
sucks. Somebody watches the third.
That's
game.
What I mean. So you go to the movies. Same thing on Christmas.
The first game, it starts way too early. Like even in Central Time, it starts at like 11.
Yeah, so here's 9 or something, right?
And then you get that stupid hour long. The first like halftime show for the Lions game always like kind of sucks. And then you never know, like, are the Lions going to be decent that year? Or not going to be decent? So you never know what Lions team you're going to get.
I don't think the Lions have ever been decent, have they?
They went to the playoffs like once the last couple of years. I don't know. And then you get the Cowboy game, and that's either like they're playing. Like, I've always thought the Cowboys should play like the Redskins on Thanksgiving to kind of match up with like the first Thanksgiving, the Pilgrims and the Indians. I don't know. That's always kind of been my thing. So like, I hate it when they play like the Raiders on Thanksgiving.
I think they try to. The skeptic of me says the NFL's like, there's no way in hell we're doing a Cowboys and Indian theme.
But they did the Redskins 2 years ago. It was actually a great game, and we got the great audio of Troy Aikman where he was talking about Dak Prescott, and he says, "Well, he starts to come," and then he pulls out, which was just the greatest audio.
Yes. Which goes with my idea of doing a sports things that sound sexual, but they aren't for broadcasting.
I don't know. Troy Aikman's probably being sexual. We talked to Dak in the pre-production meetings.
They got all excited. It's probably right.
Well, that's my thing on the football schedule. And then the third game, you just don't really care about.
Yeah, regardless. But I mean, Thanksgiving. Well, I was thinking until they added the third game, there's nothing to do after the second game. You're tired or whatever.
Well, now you got Black Friday that starts at like 5 o'clock in the evening.
It used to be in the old days. I remember distinctly in high school. Like Christmas Eve sucked because even like and I worked in a movie theater in high school. The last movie started at 7, so it'd be like 10 o'clock at night. Like everything's closed on Christmas Eve, and of course you're waiting for Santa to come. We have somebody sleeping in here. I don't know if you can hear us. So, literally nothing to do at all because everything's closed. So you go to the movies, type of a thing. But even now, movies are playing at 10 o'clock on Christmas Eve. They're playing them later now. And everything.
I went and saw, what was it? The one with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, Stepdad? Is that what it is? Stepdad? Yeah, the first one. I saw that on Christmas Day because that's when it came out.
Christmas Day? Nice.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, there's so many people here. It was like when me and Brie were like, we didn't have anything going on.
Also, go to a casino on Christmas morning. Ridiculously busy.
Can we go to Vegas on Christmas?
I'm sure you could. I've been to Vegas on Christmas.
I'm going to Vegas on Christmas.
Okay. How's it any different?
Well, I'll get drunk. Oh, yeah, you're right. How's that any different?
I'm just saying, how's it any different?
I'll still be sad.
But like, I have been to Casino Arizona here on Christmas Day at like 10 o'clock.
Why? There's nothing good at Casino Arizona.
Somebody I was dating's family was bored and they decided to go. It was before kids and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody's like, well, we always go to the casino in there. Literally wall-to-wall people, thousands of people, wall-to-wall. You can't do anything. There's so many people there. Ridiculous.
Blowing grandma's Christmas money on the roulette table.
Yeah.
Put it on black.
It was just amazing. So movies and casinos. Not a lot of other stuff's open, though. Grocery stores are, but what else? Oh, movie theaters open up on Christmas later, but
Walgreens is open, so you get all those batteries that you forgot to get when you bought the damn toy.
You pick it out,
and you're like, no, I'll get it tomorrow. No, I'll get it now. Like, oh, goddamn.
You always like forgot that one cousin that shows up unexpectedly. So back in the day, you'd end up at like, because even Walmart's closed now.
Yeah.
But like back in the day, you like be at 7-Eleven, like, oh, spam, sweet, get this for the cut, come and wrap it real quick.
Or if you have at your place, you get that one present that your mom got you, like in your stocking stuffer that you didn't really care for. Like, oh, here you go, here's a pack of 3 Bic razors,
We used to always get stuff, and then you get like these. And I still do it for my kids. They're harder to find now. We get those little stupid toys, You've seen it, the ones where you put your hand in it, and it makes the form of the hand.
Oh yeah, those things, yeah.
They're harder to find nowadays, but you can still find those little basic toys. They have more fun with that than they do with PS4 games and everything. So it's like whatever. So anyway,
the family around the holidays.
Do you want to talk about the movie reviews since we talked about movies earlier?
Yeah, I guess we can
swing into that.
Keep going some movie stuff.
How about that transition?
I was getting ready to reminisce about family.
I know that's why I changed subjects. I was
getting ready to cry for 5 minutes.
Our couch is busy over there with somebody sleeping on it. So from the kitchen studios,
and I can't go cry on that.
So saw a tag movie. I actually saw that in a preview. I know it's been out for a week now. I don't even know how it was doing because it's up against some pretty staunch competition with Invincibles 2 opening in Jurassic World. But tag movie. All right. movie about tag, right?
So, all right, I've seen the trailer. So what, these guys, like 4 guys, right?
5 guys.
5 guys?
In reality, it's based on a true story. In reality, it's 10 guys, but in the movie, they only do 5. Yeah.
So they pretty much have a 30-year-old game of tag that they're playing?
Yeah, they've been playing it since they were a kid. You know, so, but they only do it one time a month. So in the real life story, they do it in February.
Or they
These
just
guys
play,
are doing it in May.
Or they just take vacation to go play tag? Or
No,
what?
so that's the weird thing. Like, and the real life one kind of confuses me. I think they just like it's an excuse to go see your buddy, basically your friend.
Right.
Because you know they've moved all across the country and they all have like things, but they go to like extreme lengths in order to like get them. So they do it in the movie where one of the guys gets a job as a janitor. One of the guys like CEO of a big pharmaceutical company or something, and one of the guys gets a job as a janitor in order to get in and tag him. Because of course the month of May you're on, but it was a real thing. Like they actually tagged one of the guys at his dad's funeral. You know, like the funeral was on like the beginning of the month or whatever, and so they walked in and they tagged him at his dad's funeral. You know, type of stuff. So
that's insane. Like who would like? So in real life, the guy got a job as a janitor, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's insane.
Like they at the end of the movie, they show the clips of them
of the actual like the real
people.
guys.
Yeah, and like how they tag people at certain times. It started as a Wall Street Journal thing. Like they were interviewing the CEO of the company, and then one of the guys walked in and was like, "We have to go get this guy or whatever," you know. So excuse our cat here. So she. Yeah, so she ended up going, "No, this is the story I want." And it was a big story in the Wall Street Journal. So now. Does that sound fun to you?
It sounds like it could be funny.
Because
I could get behind it.
My problem with it was I didn't really care who was it. You know what I mean? It basically, if you break it down to
like, are you trying to figure out how they're going to tag the next guy?
There's never any like suspense for that, you know. So in the movie, they're trying to get Jeremy Renner's character. He's never been tagged.
Wow, he's playing good.
Yeah, so...
How's he so good at this game?
Oh, well, you have to see the movie. He's like a martial arts expert. He's like a fitness guy. So he's never been tagged the whole time. And he's prideful in that. And he's getting married, so they all try to show up there.
I remember the clip his wife's like, no, like, you're not playing this weekend.
Yeah, so... I mean, it's been out for a week, and then it's a big game back and forth, like who's telling the truth. They do a lot of lying and stuff, and the wife, you know, the soon-to-be wife's all in it and everything. But, like...
is she in the game of tag?
Not officially, because no women are allowed.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
But he used her, you know, they played against them and everything. I mean, it was a good movie. It kept my excitement going. But like I said, it's basically, if you break it down, if they would have focused more on what it was meant to be, because at the end, it has a really touching ending where they say to Jeremy Renner's character, you know, the whole point of tag is to get tagged because it keeps us together. You know, it doesn't keep us apart, because Jeremy Renner was the one of the 5 that his character where
kind of separated himself from the rest.
So he wasn't as close a friend as the other guys were,
and the other guys
because
were
he wanted to not get tagged,
hanging out on the couch, smoking
So
pot.
at the end, they realized that and they come out. And if the movie would have focused more on that, I think it would have been better. Because up until that point, I didn't give a crap who was tagged. Like, it was just stupid. It was just guys tagging each other standing there, you know. And
really?
Like, yeah, it was like, this is dumb, you know. So if they would have focused more on that aspect of it, like how to get it. Because like I said, they fly over. Then the other problem with it is just the casting. Like, so, what's his name from The Office? That's the main guy. Ed Helms.
Mm-hmm. I like Ed Helms.
I'm not that he's good in certain roles, but he plays the same character every time, you know? That uncomfortable, nerdy guy. And on this one, it just didn't really work that well, I didn't think, you know? Jeremy Renner's character, I thought, was really well laid out and everything, because, you know, the way he was able to keep from getting tagged, and you knew that with some of the things he was doing, he was faking it, and the other guys.
How was Jake Johnson?
Jake Johnson?
Played Randy in the movie? The guy from New Girl?
Yeah. I'm like, who? Isn't it Jake?
Yeah, Jake Johnson.
Okay, sorry. I thought you said that. He's funny. Like, he's that awkward, but he's like a big pothead and everything. Like,
yeah.
You know, reminded of you because he was sitting on this chick.
He was the janitor, right?
Yeah. So, like...
he was?
No. Oh. He was, like, on pot all the time and everything. But, so, like, this girl that they liked in high school, he goes to hit on her, and it was pretty funny because he's like, my wife's dead. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he's like, yeah, she's dead to me because they got divorced, you know. So he's like, she's dead to me. Well, so that was his joke all along. So he goes up to this girl they went to high school with, and she's like, oh, my husband died. And he's like, yeah, my wife died too. She's like, really? And he's like, yeah, she's dead to me. And she's like, no, my husband really, really died. Like, we buried him and everything. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. My wife's dead to me too. Like, you just can't get the fact that he's really dead because he's just... So jokes like that where it made me giggle, you know? But, what's the guy's name? Hannibal?
Hannibal Buress?
Oh, my God.
The token black guy in the movie, right?
Yeah, right. Never been funny to me. I don't find him funny at all. I did giggle at a couple of his lines, but mostly his acting skills is weird, awkward one-liners. Like, you see him in the previews, you know, where he's outside. It's like, you know, get the note. It's like, eat a dick or eat a cock.
Well, didn't he start off as like
it's an ice cream
comedian?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I've never been a fan. Like, there's some guys who can pull it off. Some guys who can't go like the comedian to actor crossover.
It's almost like in every role he plays, he never says a full sentence. Like, it's always like half sentences, you know? Like, when they go get him at the beginning of this movie, he's in his therapist's office and he just sits down. And, like, you know, he's like, guys, I just sat down. He's like, okay, I'll go. Then as he's walking out, you know, he's like, you guys don't care about my mental health. You know, and it's just like, that's supposed to be funny. Like,
yeah, I mean, mental health is kind of a touchy subject now.
Like,
I mean,
that throughout the whole movie. He just has like
suicides. I mean, I just don't know.
He did have a couple funny lines that were just so like random out there, like inappropriate for the situation, kind of thing. But it wasn't like laugh out loud funny. It was like, oh, finally, the guy had a good line.
Like, oh, all right, yeah.
So I had a problem more with just the acting and the casting in it. And then, like I said, if they would have focused more on the ending, where it was more of a guys stick together type movie, as opposed to pushing each other. Because the whole beginning part was, oh, we're gonna get this guy, we're gonna get this guy, we're gonna get this guy. And if they would have focused more on the emotional side, because I thought the ending was very touching. If I may be a little non-guy here, like I kind of teared up a little bit almost, because I was like, oh.
Aww.
You know. So anyway, that was Tag. Go see it if you like them. I wouldn't say it was fun. I don't remember laughing a lot. I might have giggled or smiled. I might have, you know, smiled a little and stopped every once in a while. A little
might have half smiled. Like, all right, yeah, that's a good insult.
Like
I'll use that on Jason later.
This was like a special preview, so like the theater wasn't full at all, so I couldn't really gauge laughter. And this theater was this was that super nice theater, so nobody was like even close to you. You know, you kind of have like a little private balcony booth. You know, so I couldn't really gauge the action of the crowd or whatever. I mean, it was entertaining. It kept my interest. I enjoyed the ending. I never really cared who was it and what was going on. But it kept my interest. But it's one of those where it's wait for video kind of a deal. So, embarrassing. But then, if Ireland was up, she could come over and talk about Invincibles too. Because the kids loved it.
How'd you feel?
I hated the first one. Let's start with that.
The first one, I didn't.
The first one.
I never watched the full thing through because I saw it. Did I tell you the story?
No, I don't think so.
So the first one came out in what, 04, right? I think it came out like ago. In 2004.
Because they make a big deal about how long it's been since they made a second one. It's just,
right.
Anyway.
So me and my buddies actually went down to South Padre Island. Well, our intent was to go down to South Padre Island.
And you're in the military right now? Or are you too young?
No, I was 17.
Oh, wow.
I was 17 going to South Padre Island for spring break.
Forget how young you are.
This was in 05, spring break. And
2005?
Yeah.
Oh, dear God.
So,
you're so young.
My buddies...
Who changed your diapers on this trip?
Jesse.
Okay,
Jesse Street changed my diapers. Thanks, Jesse. I appreciate it. But no, all my friends were older. So they were like 19, 18, you know. So I was the baby, actually, of the group. So we all get to my buddy's Buick Regal. One of my buddies stole, like, his mom's gas card, so we had gas the whole trip, right? Like, other buddy, like, had two guys that worked at Albertsons. So they got like hooked up. They worked in the deli department, so they hooked us up with like 25-cent meat. You know, they just like put the price tag on it for 25 cents. So we had like all this gourmet meat for sandwiches and stuff.
So how do you get the Invincibles or Incredibles 2 or Incredibles on this trip?
So
you're going to spring break and you're like, let's go see a cartoon.
No, so I fall asleep. Like, so we have an atlas, right? And I'm like, all right, here's how we got to go. South Padre's right here. We're good. I wake up and I see a sign that says, "Welcome to Corpus Christi, home of Terry and Bobby Labonte, NASCAR drivers," right? I'm like, why the hell are we in Corpus Christi? I got Padres up here. I'm like, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, you're a little off.
So they actually took us to North Padre Island because they did not know how to read a actual map. Yeah, the atlas. This is before we all had our phones to just direct us where to go.
Back then when you'd look it up and you'd have to print out the directions. Yeah. Remember that?
But I just decided the atlas was the way to go on this trip. A good old-fashioned road trip, like Goofy tried in his movie. So I wake up, we're in Corpus Christi. We end up staying at this like shithole motel. It wasn't a hotel, it was a motel. And we stayed there for the day. I was like, all right, well, tomorrow we're going to wake up and we're going to go to South Padre. So we're like, all right, what's there in Corpus? They have a mall that has like 4 stores open in it. And they have a dollar movie theater. So we decided to go see The Incredibles. Because I think like the other theater was showing like freaking You've Got Mail or something, which by the way, 25 years ago came out today. So
seriously?
Yeah.
That's weird. I didn't know that. And I was driving down the road earlier today, and I was like, "You've Got Mail." Like, just out of nowhere. And you're the first person to tell me that. So either I heard that while I was sleeping and it stuck with me, because it was just weird. It came out of nowhere. That whole guy, "You've Got Mail." Not the movie, the actual
right.
thing. Anyway, go ahead. Finish your stuff.
But yeah, so we ended up seeing Incredibles, and I was like so tired, because I slept in the car the night before and tried to sleep in the hotel. And the guy actually came and like woke us up at like noon and told us to get out because my buddy like, "No, I said this morning we need it for because we knew we were going to pay both nights." So he's like, "I need it for tonight." He goes, he's some foreign guy, like, "Badarka, get the hell out of here," and all that stuff.
You're snuggling with a roach, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So there's like 5 of us staying in this hotel. One guy sleeping on the floor. They didn't have a cot to provide us. So we're like go watch The Incredibles, and I like Larry started falling asleep. Didn't really see much of it.
The good news is that
didn't care to see it again.
If you sleep in the right blood stain, it's kind of comfortable actually. So.
It's warm still. It's warm.
Exactly. So anyway, there's Jason's story of his teenage years. Yeah. The cat's less than enthused. But so I hated the first one. There's nothing good about it. I thought it was awful. Wasn't funny. Blah blah. So Incredibles 2 comes out. I'm willing to give it a shot because the kids want to see it. And I thoroughly enjoyed it actually, but I thoroughly enjoyed it because the baby makes the movie. If the baby wasn't in it, I would have been bored out of my mind.
The baby got crunk at the end of the first one, right?
But the baby gets his powers this time, so they're trying to develop it. They're trying to figure out his powers or whatever. Right. And there's a little bit of relation to this because the mom, Elastigirl, gets a job. So she's away from the family, so like dad has to, Mr. Incredible has to like do everything. So you can kind of relate to that and everything, So Incredibles 2, I would say if you have young kids, it's worth seeing. I do know 4 other adults that have seen it without kids, and they liked it, but they're more of superhero, Marvel type people, and I certainly am not. And they enjoyed it, so it definitely kept my thing. There was a couple times where I felt like I could have closed my eyes and gone taking a quick nap to get around it. Mm-hmm. But the baby makes the movie, whatever the baby's name is, Jar Jar or something.
I don't remember. Is it Jar Jar?
No, Jar Jar was. I don't know. We have it over there on the thing from McDonald's today. So Incredibles 2, young kids, my kids loved it. Like I looked over at them a couple times, and even when it ended, they had big smiles on their faces and everything. So it's worth it on that side if you want to do that. So I just don't find it funny. Like I don't think it's well written. I don't think it's funny. I think it goes back to my whole problem with Superman is they're incredible, but they can't die.
Right.
They can he's strong, she can stretch and everything. So it's well, if you can do everything to combat stuff, then what's the excitement in this? Because there's no suspense because we know what's going to happen. We know you can do it at the end. So I think that's my problem with it. Little story there.
All right.
Well, whatever.
Does it have the same bad guy? Or is it a new bad guy?
No.
Is it like the bad guy in the first one, like their friend?
Yeah.
Or something
I don't remember that. But yeah, it was somebody like that. This is gonna sound weird. I don't remember who the bad guy was. I don't.
No, Samuel L. Jackson was in it. Was he a bad guy?
No, he's Mr. Freeze or whatever.
Oh, okay. The black. He's the token black guy.
He's the second time.
There has to be a token black guy in the movie, right? Gosh, Jurassic Park. He had a token black guy. He
but they're
died.
Not dying early. They're not. Yeah, but these first two movies, they haven't died. They didn't die early, so they stuck around the whole movies. That's funny. Yeah, you know, now you mentioned it, I don't even remember who the bad guy was, but that should tell you how I felt about this movie, because all I basically remember is Elastigirl gets a job. Because superheroes are banned. It's coming back to me now. Superheroes are banned, so a guy wants them to get unbanned. So he's using Elastigirl to do good things and fight crime. So they can pass a law that they can come back out and stop hiding again. So they use Elastigirl on that. It's funny. I couldn't even tell you who the bad guy was. So that should tell you how I felt about the movie. If it wasn't for that baby, it would be like the first one. I couldn't even tell you what the first one was about. The only thing I remember about the first one is they were running through some jungle or something.
Yeah.
Trees. That's the only
and
thing I remember.
And the kid Flash or something was like,
I don't know.
fast.
I just remember them run. Yeah, the kid's super fast though. But it's the only thing I remember about the first one is the trees and they were running on a beach or something. So the second one would be as memorable to me. Except for the baby. The baby was the cutest.
So in other words, when it comes on video, parents go buy it and your kids are just going to watch it on repeat. You're going to get tired of it within a month and your kids are going to watch it all summer long.
Yes. Unless you're a big superhero fan. Because like I said, I do know 4 adults with no kids that saw it and they liked it.
I can't wait till they do the Deadpool Incredibles crossover. When's Deadpool going to make jokes about the Incredibles?
Make fun of them. And the other thing that bothered me is before the movie started, they had all the voice actors like Samuel L. Jackson and Craig T. Nelson, and not Helen Hunt, Helen whatever her name is that plays Elastigirl. They're like, oh, sorry it took so long for us to come out with this one. We know 14 years is a long time and you've been waiting. And I'm just like, can we start the stupid movie, you know? Who cares how long it took you to do another one? Does anybody care?
Right. It can't all be like Jurassic Park and be on their 8th one now.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that in a second here. So, to tell you, these cartoons do really well their first weekends, and then they just tank. They dropped 56% on their second weekend.
Because nobody rolls out the first week. You gotta go see it the first week, or you don't see it.
Well, everybody that wants to see it, I think, will rush out. But then it's also against Jurassic World this week too,
yeah. which you went and saw. And how was that? Okay,
I feel like I start every movie review with "I'm not a big fan."
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting that vibe now. I don't even know why you go watch movies.
Because I get invited and I go. So. I'm not a fan of the Jurassic Park movies. And one of the reasons why I am not a fan is because at some point somebody's got to say, stop making dinosaurs because they're going to eat you, right? So once you get past that, I enjoyed this movie as just a movie per se. There's nothing new in it. It's the same story as the first ones, Does
Chris Pratt get shirtless?
I don't remember. I don't think he does.
I'm sure you would remember that.
Yeah. That was awkward.
Surprised you didn't,
just went there.
I thought you'd Snapchat me that. Interesting.
So basically the gist of it is now they get out into the world, which they did in the third one, Jurassic Park 3. Remember they were running. T-Rex was running through San Diego.
Do they still use 90s stuff in these ones? Because remember the first Jurassic Park came out and they did 2 and then 3 was that late 90s they did 2 and 3, right?
Yeah.
They're still kind of piggybacking off of those ones.
No. So now
totally new,
I don't know. Did you see the other one with Chris Pratt?
No. I wasn't like you. I wasn't a fan of Jurassic Park, and I don't care who's inviting me. I'm not gonna go see it.
What is fascinating about it is I think you'd enjoy them though. They're entertainment. Mm-hmm. You just have to suspend So the second one is they have a new park that they have with more secure, but then they're making their own dinosaurs in the first one.
Gotcha.
So then the dinosaurs get out and take over the island. So this one here.
Didn't see that one coming, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Yes, they obviously didn't see the first Jurassic Park.
They were our friends.
Yeah, that's my problem with this now is didn't these people watch, Jurassic Park from 1989? We know what's going to happen. So this one here, all the dinosaurs are on the island, but a volcano's erupting. Mm. So the dinosaurs are going to go extinct again because they're obviously going to die because the volcanoes are erupting. So people want to save them. Again, first question, why they're going to eat you.
Right.
So they go and save some of them. People are evil, whatever. The thing I like about the Jurassic Park movies and kind of why I like watching them is their cinematography is just amazing to me.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, remember in the first one, when you don't even see the T-Rex yet, but you're scared to death because you see the water in the van.
And then, like, you see the eye, you're like, oh, God.
Yeah. They do they employ the same effects in this, and I don't think that ever gets old, you know? Mm-hmm. So in this one at the beginning, like...
Did you jump a little?
No, I didn't jump at all. But, like, at the beginning, a guy's standing outside, you know, and he's, like, working on something, and it's dark out, and you see the leaves ruffle, you know, and all of a sudden...
Oh, that's when you know shit's about to go down.
Yeah, and his friend... And he looks around, you know, and then the leaves rustle again, and he looks around, and he takes a couple steps back, and his buddies are all like, let's go, let's go, let's go. He's like, let me finish this real quick. And while he's standing there, you know, like a lightning bolt comes down because it's raining, and you just see the outline of the T-Rex, you know, standing there, and then it goes away, and then the guy turns back around and he doesn't see anything again, you know. That's the stuff I like because it just adds a little bit more suspense. Right. They do that a lot. And then you got the obligatory, look over here and a dinosaur comes from the other side, kind of scares you a little bit. That's what I like about those movies is, it's the same stories, it's the same everything as the other one. So if you like those, you'll like this one. If you don't like it, you're not going to like it. But I like how they do the filmmaking and stuff like that. That's the stuff I like.
How long does it take you to see a dinosaur?
You see it, opening scene.
Good. See, that's the one thing I hate about the first Jurassic Park.
No, see, that's what made it great. That was what I was just explaining. That's what made it great was they showed you all the things leading. They kept you in suspense leading up, which is what Spielberg does.
It reminded me of that one movie that's horrible. It takes forever to get to the deal.
It's different though.
Family Guy made fun of it. Was it Stripes? With Bill Murray, you just care about him being in the army,
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. No.
It's like Full Metal Jacket. You watch just the first 45 minutes when they're actually in basic training.
Yeah.
But then you don't watch the rest. Like they just got to the good shit first. Yeah. And it's like, all right, here's the rest of the movie. I've never seen the rest of the movie.
But that was my whole point here was, they have to set the story up, but then even when they're in the park, you're not seeing the dinosaurs, but you're seeing the dinosaurs, if you know what I mean,
No, but in the first one they didn't do it like that. In the first one it was kind of like when the guy finally sees like, oh, stop the Jeep.
Not until
oh my god, and then he sees like the big whatever.
And they do the same thing. They're in these trucks, going on the island, and then like a dinosaur comes out, and one of the girls is like, I gotta see this. So they're in an area where they know there's deadly dinosaurs, and they run out of the car and they watch the big brontosaurus walk across the street. Everybody's like, oh, it's like
why do people do that?
You're about to get eaten by another dinosaur while you're watching this beautiful brontosaurus.
Like, why do people go out of their way to see like dangerous shit like that?
I know.
Like in real life, I went to I drove through Yellowstone once. Stupid. I did not want to drive through Yellowstone. It was a road trip
from. Awesome.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to see it because I was trying to drive to Texas. This was a road trip, and I wanted to just get to Colorado. Actually, we were staying in Colorado. I just wanted to get there as quick as I could.
Where were you coming? Alaska or something?
It was Seattle.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we were coming from Seattle.
Okay.
And the girls I was with, because it was like 7 a.m. And they're like, oh, Yellowstone's right here. Yeah, let's go to Yellowstone. I'm like, oh, god damn it. So that's like an hour drive through there, because you have to be like 20 miles an hour through Yellowstone Park.
See all the wildlife. God forbid a buffalo walks across the street. Everybody slams on the
So we didn't see any wildlife. And then people were stopped at this, just stopped on the road. And we're like, oh, why's everybody stopped? We're like, oh, there's a bear 20 feet away. I'm like, let's get out and see the bear. I'm like, why would you want to get out and watch a bear? There's nothing that bear could just say, hey, you know what? Fuck you.
I'm hungry this morning.
So you get out of the car and you're like, all right, where's the bear at? Like, oh, well, he just went up to the caves. We're going to wait and see if he comes out. I was like, I'm not. All right, look, you get 5 minutes. 5 minutes is what you get until if this bear don't come out, we're leaving. And he didn't come out, so we left.
I'm with you on the Yellowstone thing, but I've also been there 1,000 times in my life. I've seen buffalo and deer, so
yeah, I've seen deer hunting. I've seen buffalo.
We were in northern Arizona last week, and we saw white and brown buffalo.
Right.
So ooh.
It doesn't. If I want to, I'll just go pay $15 to go to the zoo, see a bear. All right. Oh, he's sleeping. Cool. Right. He's in his natural habitat.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, back to Jurassic Park. So I would recommend it if you like it, and you know, and like I said, I like it for their cinematography and the way they do stuff. A lot of stupid plot points, but there's a lot of stupid plot points in every Jurassic Park, you know, so like that. But
it's dinosaurs.
I was thoroughly entertained for 2 hours. If I have to go see it again this weekend with the kids, which it sounds like I'm going to, because they want to see it, I'm not sure how I'm going to react after another 2 hours of it.
But you're one of those guys who like focuses on other stuff though throughout.
That's what I mean, like this, yeah, like that's what I mean. Like I notice things that most people don't notice. So seeing it a second time, I'll probably notice more that people don't notice.
Right.
So, but that's and that's why I like it so much. Is just the way they do the cinematography, and they mess with you, like you know a dinosaur's there, but you're not sure if a dinosaur's there, and the way they do they have them in cages and back in the States, and they're trying to sell them, you know, and like people are like taking pictures.
How much do dinosaurs go for in the black market?
Some are going for $10 million, Jason. It's a whole scene in the movie for some ungodly reason.
That's like almost the same price as like a Wilt Chamberlain rookie card. Seems odd.
Yeah, like there's a lot of plot point problems.
Okay.
I'll even spoil this one for you. They were in a house. They brought the dinosaurs back and put them in a giant house in cages to sell them. It was just weird.
So these dinosaurs live in like Scottsdale?
Yeah, it was Seattle or something. But it was just weird. But like the dinosaur came out and the way the lights were hitting it and everything, like you could see it on the, you could see so you couldn't see what the dinosaur was doing, but you could see a shadow on the wall, and he was doing some stuff, and it's
playing
like,
Wii Fit or what?
Eating people, Jason.
Oh,
so it was cool because you could watch it on the shadow, like you didn't see him actually doing it, but you saw it on the shadow.
He's like a leg go up.
Yeah, like
Sweet.
That's the stuff that was like, that's the stuff that I like watching. It's anybody can show a dinosaur eating somebody, to do it on a wall and make it look like
you see the blood splatter.
Well, and then there's other things going on in the scene. It's off to the side,
right?
So type of a thing. So I'd recommend it if you like it. If you like those movies and everything. Bryce Dallas Howard, I'm not a big fan of in some of her stuff. Some of her stuff she's good. A lot of it I'm not a big fan of her in these movies. Chris Pratt. Man, I'm starting to like this guy. Like, I'm actually thinking about seeing, like, Infinity War just because I know he's in it. I know what happens to him. But I'm like, man, he's a good... I'm going to go see this movie because of this guy.
The first movie I saw with Chris Pratt, I didn't know who Chris Pratt was. And it was it High School Reunion? It had Channing Tatum in it.
I don't know that.
It was like... It wasn't a good movie at all. It was, like, weird. It was, like, a slow burn movie. There wasn't really, like, anything entertaining in the movie. I thought it was just they were back in high school and like Channing wants to like propose to his girlfriend, but his like old girlfriend's there, and then Chris Pratt just got really fucking drunk, and this was like fat Chris Pratt too.
Well, that's what I was getting at. Was I know him from Parks and Recreation, which I never watched, but I would watch clips of it,
right?
And like he just always stood out in these clips because he was this weird character, but he had to be chunkier because they wanted everybody to be Indiana looking.
Yeah,
that's where it was based out of.
Sorry to the listeners out there in Indiana.
Well, the guy that plays Ron Swanson in that show, the guy with the mustache, he actually says that, like, the producer, because he got the job, and the producer's like, well, I'm going to start working out. And they're like, no, we want you to look like you're from Indiana. So they had to meet a lot. He's got a pretty funny story about it. I saw an interview on him with it. That's where I saw Chris Pratt. And then I didn't see him at all. And then Guardians of the Galaxy I saw like a year and a half after it came out on HBO one day because I had no desire to see it. And I was like, who is this guy? Like, he's amazing. Mm-hmm. Then I saw him in the next Jurassic Park and was like, man, this guy's, I don't know what it is, but this guy has it,
Oh, yeah.
But then I seen him in interviews like on Conan and other things, and he's pretty funny.
He's giving The Rock a run for his money. Still not Rock status, but
I don't know if I'd go with Rock. Kind of different actors, but
I don't know.
Whatever. So anyway, check it out, Jurassic Park. So, are you a fan of? Kind of a weird transition.
Weird transition. I like it.
Are you a fan of the ESPN Body Issue?
Yes and no.
Because the pictures came out today, but the magazine doesn't come out till God knows when. I don't care. Tomorrow or something. Yeah. So you're not?
Yeah. Well, yes and no. Like, there's some people I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I think there's some like marvels of it. Like, I mean, obviously, most of it is mainly like dudes who are kind of naked, and they get but they do have like the fair share of chicks too. But it's just weird, like the guys who like they do pull. Yeah, I mean, It's just where like the guys that they do, or the girls that they do pull,
That's what I
or the
mean.
guys they do pull. Because I remember Prince Fielder was in it one year.
And he looks fat until you see him in the body issue, and he is
Right.
not fat. He doesn't have an ounce of fat on him.
Yeah, like,
he's
guy
probably
is,
got
like,
like 10%
ripped, right?
body fat. Yeah.
And it was like just crazy, like, oh my gosh. But then you look at it and it's just like him like holding the baseball bat. I remember I actually watched like an ESPN like little thing of them getting
Yeah,
Bryce
they made
Harper
it.
ready for it.
Yeah.
And like Bryce Harper's in this
Was
dugout.
Bryce Hopper in it?
Yeah, like,
I didn't know that.
and he was just naked, you know, and he has the elastic bands trying to get the pump on, you know, while he's doing it. Like, let's rub some dirt all over his body and his cock. And
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
no, sorry,
I am
Went out
not a fan of it for this reason is, oh my God, you want to get depressed about what your body, I don't care what kind of shape you're in, you want to get depressed about what your body looks like? Check out The Body Issue. Well, I mean, they had, 70 whatever year old Gary Player a couple years ago, you know, and I'm like, this 70-year-old guy looks better than I ever have in my whole life. Like, what the heck? You know? But,
I know they have Charlotte Flair's in it this year.
yeah, well, okay, I'm not going to lie.
WWE fame.
That's the reason I looked into it today, because me and Charlotte, she doesn't know it yet, but we're
Get married.
Be married
Get
together.
married.
But here's the thing: they have Saquon Barkley, which I showed you pictures of Saquon Barkley not in The Body Issue with his thighs that look like redwoods,
Tree trunks. Yeah.
So that's the reason I was doing it. But I mean, it's got Greg Norman in it, who's still pretty ripped.
Dude, like,
Yasiel Puig's in it.
look, Norman is ripped. I'll give him that. But it just looks so horrible seeing Greg Norman out there in a sand trap. Shoot.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Oh no, there's a picture of him like just like shooting away.
I see him leaning on his driver right now. That's what I'm
It has Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe in it.
together. Yeah.
Tori Brown looks like she is an Olympian. She's holding a baton
Yeah,
over her breast.
Jerry Rice is in it.
Lauren Chamberlain, softball player. Yeah.
Aaron Rippon. Well,
Jessie Deegan's. They got her out in the snow.
yeah.
She's a skier. Crystal Dunn. Not sure what she does.
Carl Anthony Towns is in it.
The weird thing about it is Charlotte Flair, like her pictures that I've seen so far, she's wearing her boots. That's all she's wearing. Which it's like, I don't know, wrestling, like, you know, you're used to seeing like strippers and like high heels and naked, and it's like a girl in wrestling boots. I don't know. That's kind of
I
rocking.
saw that one. What's it? I don't like it when.
Dallas Keuchel's in it this year.
I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it when they get words on their like ribs. Like, I don't want to be reading.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to read this?
Dude, I remember, all right, this is a weird story here. This one time I was having sex with this girl, and she had a tattoo, and it had words on it, so I kept trying to read the tattoo. I couldn't like really get it all out because it like went across like from like it started like her back and like went across to like her front, like underneath her boob.
Yeah, like rotate it.
So I'm trying to like read it, right? Like over there knocking it out, just looking over to the side, trying to figure out what it is.
Here's your mental picture, everybody. Enjoy this.
And then like, you know, like I'm flipping her over, and then like I can't quite tell because like her boob's just flopping up and down, covering it. So like we get done, like, what's your tattoo say? It's like the first thing out of my mouth, like, what's your tattoo say?
Oh my god. Yeah.
But no, just something weird about seeing like Greg Norman. He is ripped, but he is so old. Like,
Wait, how old is he now? 70 something?
oh, he's got to be up there.
He's not the oldest because Gary Player was the oldest. He was 77. That was a couple years ago. But
And Jerry Rice isn't really in like too much shape anymore. Like
he was never a big guy to begin with. He just could run forever. That was the
yeah,
thing
but you
with
just look
him.
at it like he doesn't really look ripped or anything. He's just like,
I don't think he ever was though. I think he was just in running shape. You know what I mean? Like he probably could have done the Boston Marathon or something. I used to read stories about Jerry Rice where like he would be on a treadmill for like 4 hours at like a fast speed and like get off it and not even be like sweating, you know, because he was just so in shape and everything. But yeah, so I was just curious of that because I'm not a fan of it. Like I get why they do it and everything. Who's Zlatan Ibrahimovic?
he's a very tatted up guy.
I know. Is he like an MMA guy or something?
I have no idea.
His ass cheeks are tatted up, Jason.
Yeah, I saw that.
Circles.
But I'm going to show you this picture of Greg Norman.
Yeah,
Like just rocking it in the sand trap with his hat. Like this, like here he is, like full like backswing.
Yeah.
Like you gotta be like, he's definitely tucked in right there, right?
I'm sure they magic of pictures. But that's the one thing about it is, I mean, it shows people and what it takes to. That's why I'm not a professional athlete. This is what The Body Issue teaches me.
Oh yeah.
Is even in my best shape of my life, I was nowhere near these guys.
Why is Dallas Keuchel throwing baseballs at a junkyard?
I know, right?
I don't know.
He was in a tunnel when I saw it, too. He's like in some tunnel. I know, like Yasiel Puig's like standing there, and
With
I'm
peanuts?
like, I think they just took that picture in the dugout. Like before a game of Yasiel Puig.
Right? It's like not even like fake Yasiel. Like
they just showed up in the locker room and were like, oh, hey, let's get a snap a picture on this here. So anyway, that comes out this week. I know the pictures are out now, but it comes out this week. But check out Saquon Barkley's legs, because I do not want to be a linebacker on the other side of that guy coming through the line. He's just going to run you the crap over, man.
I know. I'm so upset the Cowboys play him twice this year. Hopefully, he tears an ACL before that first game. I don't know.
The picture I showed you, wasn't he pitching or something that I showed you that picture?
Yeah, he threw out the first pitch, right? Like a Mets game.
Yeah, people were like, man, that's just a weird angle on that shot. And then so they showed another angle, and it was like, oh, that's not a weird angle.
Yeah, this guy has legs the size of tree trunks.
Oh my god. It's just like, oh dear God. I mean, he's got muscles. His muscles have muscles that have muscles, It's like, what? And Sue Bird was in the WNBA, right?
Yeah.
Is that why that? And then the Megan chick, she was a soccer player, I think.
Yeah, I think she was a soccer player. One of them was soccer, and then one was basketball when they showed, and they did theirs together. But no, it's cool. It's yes or no. Like the yes, Charlotte Flair. The bad, Greg Norman.
She's got too much. Like, she looks like she's been airbrushed. Charlotte Flair's been airbrushed.
They've all been airbrushed. Makeup? With that stuff,
it's supposed to be natural.
Yeah, it's not all natural. Come on.
How old is Charlotte Flair nowadays?
She's like 30s, right? 32?
We looked it up that one time. Yeah. Is she that young? I thought she was older.
Or maybe it was younger. I can't remember. I thought it was like 32, maybe. But no, I always enjoy seeing like the baseball players in it, which just sounds weird.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've enjoyed like the Bryce Harper and stuff. Like, gosh, like that guy's like ripped, I just love Bryce Harper to begin with. Like, I look at him; he has the best hair in baseball.
No, that's for sure.
I
know. I saw one of his teammates today lost his helmet. I was watching that game today. His teammate lost the helmet, and he had the cooler hair than Bryce Harper does, man.
Whoa.
No, I'm being serious. I'm gonna have to find it. No. His helmet came off, and like he like did like the slow. I swear to God, he went in slow motion, Jason, when he was rounding second. Like he was like literally his head went in slow motion, and his hair was all waving through the air all slow as he was running.
He probably took tips from Bryce Harper.
Maybe.
That's why.
It may be, but
that's why.
I was like, oh my God, look at that.
Those locks just flowing. You're just jealous because you don't have hair.
Well, that's part of it. I paid more attention to that for that reason. So,
but no, speaking of baseball, interesting story. I know we're both on this like whole unwritten rules of baseball. Like, what's a good unwritten rule? What's a bad unwritten rule? And
they're all bad, but
what sucks is that they're unwritten. You don't know what they are. Well, no, I mean, there's one that's good. The good one is, all right, eye for an eye. A guy gets pegged, you peg him back.
But everybody's got different interpretations of it. That's the problem with the unwritten rules. One team will be like, you hit my guy, I'm going to beat me in the nuts. And then another team's like, you hit my guy, I'm going to let you get away with it. And then if you do it again, then I'm going to get you. So that's anyway, go ahead.
Well, no, you should always beat the guy if you get beamed.
I know.
That's my thought.
But yeah.
So this past Saturday, we were actually, two horrible teams. I think actually the Twins are pretty good this year. Are they pretty good again this year?
They're better than they're supposed to be.
Because last year they were better than they're supposed to be. Got the wild card, right?
Yeah.
But
I don't think they're quite there yet. I think they're still struggling, but
this year, the Rangers, they're not playing for anything. They did have a good 7-game win streak go on. Got snapped yesterday. They're back on the winning track today. And watching Sin-Soo Choo and his infinity base on base streak is pretty awesome.
Yeah, they were talking about that again today. Yes,
like the guy just keeps getting on base. I don't know why. I don't know how, but yeah, he keeps getting on base. Yeah, so Minnesota. They're 7.5 games out of the Central. So
they're in second still.
They're in second. Yeah. And then when it comes to the wild card, they're what? They're actually 11 games back of the wild card, so they have a better chance of getting the Central crown than the wild card crown this year. But yeah, so anyways. Rangers and Twins are playing this week. Jurickson Profar, they showed the highlight. He got beaned 3 times Saturday. This is actually the second time a guy has been beaned 3 times in one game.
But Jurickson Profar
being the first time to do it this year and June 5th. So this is the third time second time this month he's been beaned 3 times. Yeah. So he got beaned again in the later innings. He got beaned, I think, the second inning, then the fourth inning, then later innings he got beaned. Well, they asked Palmater, like, oh, hey, Jurickson got beaned. And like the third time looked like they straight wanted to beat him, So it's like, oh, hey, Jurickson got beaned, that third time. Like, what's up with that? He's like, oh, we just want to give him a chance to steal another base. Because Jurickson Profar in the fourth inning, while the Rangers were up 9-2, stole second base on the Twins, and I guess the Twins took exception to that. Twins actually had the bases loaded, winning run at the plate in the ninth inning. So it's like one of those things where, we talked about the Twins actually earlier this year when their guy bunted into the shift of a one-hitter. It wasn't like, anything bad. It was a one-hitter. It wasn't a no-hitter.
Sure?
But they were down. No, I think it was just a one-hitter.
They were down by a lot. But
they were down by like 1 or 2 runs. So it was like still a game that they could have came back and won.
Yeah, are you sure it wasn't? But anyway.
And they talked about it, like, oh, we're still trying to win a game. And I think, the Rangers, obviously, like, we're trying to win this game. So, I don't know. Like, that's one of those unwritten rules. Is it Bush League to steal when you're up by 5 runs or 7 runs? Fourth inning.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
You're up 9-2.
Because in Major League Baseball, see, that's the problem with the unwritten rules is because if it was the 8th inning, okay, don't steal if you're up by 5 runs, fourth inning, you can come back from that. Like, you can lose that lead in it. Somebody just did against San Diego tonight.
Yeah, Rangers, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was like, we had it on here. Who was that? You can lose a 4 or 5 game, lead in an inning, let alone 5 more innings on there. So, the thing I don't get is so the guy was plunked 3 times. There was no warnings or anything.
Right. Umpires just do not care about Jurickson Profar's well-being. And you saw, the third time, you saw Jeff Bannister, because he knew, all right, they're obviously beating him because he tried to steal second, or he stole second, in the fourth. And you see Bannister, look at the umpires, hey, a-hole, let's throw a warning out here. Third freaking time, okay? Our guys haven't even retaliated.
I feel like if a guy gets beamed twice, you almost, as an umpire, have to go, look, guys, I'm warning both sides,
Right.
Even if they're both accidents, twice for the same guy, it's kind of like, all right, I got to warn everybody.
But then you get the great audio that we saw from, what was it, Collins, the old manager for the Mets, where he's like, you got to give us a chance. You got to give us a chance. So you had your chance. No. You got to give us a chance to beating their guy, So it's don't want to warn him after the guy gets hit 3 and Which I thought the interesting stat I heard last week. I guess now numbers are probably inflated because Profar got beaten 3 times on Saturday, but the Rangers actually had the most guys hit by a pitch this year at 45. I believe it was last Thursday when I heard the stat.
Yeah, something like that.
And they also led the league in hitting batters at 45. So it's eye for an eye. Okay,
it
cool.
It should be pretty even, right?
Yeah. So it's all right, they're a fan of that unwritten rule.
I brought that up to you. I was like, well, were they hit first or were they hitting people first?
I'm not going to go back through and look up all those stats, but
that was my curious thing was, okay, which one happened first and which one was whatever? Because, there's 2 different scenarios. If they were beaming people first and people were retaliating, that's one thing, but if they were getting hit first and then they were retaliating, then it's, it's kind of like, which way's better? I don't know. So, but no, yeah, it's unwritten rules thing in baseball just drives me nuts. Well, now they're talking about banning the shift. But I told you they needed to.
I'm good. I'm all for banning the shift. I hate the shift.
Third baseman playing second base. And the thing I don't get is...
And now, the Astros manager is using, 4 outfielders.
Yes.
This ain't softball.
The thing I don't get is... beat the shift. Stop hitting the ball directly to second base with it. And then the best part is they hit it to the third baseman who's playing second now because of the shift, which is where the second baseman would have been anyway,
Right.
Just go. I understand you get paid to hit home runs and get singles and everything, but if somebody has to shift on, you don't have to bunt, but just swing a little later, go opposite field down the third baseline.
That's what I've been actually seeing a lot this year out of Rougned Odor for the Rangers. I've been watching some games since he came back from the DL. He's actually been doing that a lot lately into the shift. He's been going the other way.
Yeah, that's how you beat the shift is you do that. But these guys, strikeouts are through the roof this year, and and all the guys are like, I'd rather strike out than hit into a double play. That's the mentality of these players right now.
And it's either homer or nothing. I remember back in the day, an all-star was a guy who batted, 320, had, 25 jacks by the break. Yeah. It's oh my God, this is awesome. And then you watch these guys now, he's got 25 home runs, batting 195. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's on my ballot. It's so crazy.
Were you in Arizona when Mark Reynolds was here? I know he's in Baltimore. Right? I mean, he was leading in the MLB in strikeouts every year. And I mean, the guy was just before his time. Nowadays, he would be lauded for striking out 100 times in a season.
And these guys are going to get paid like so much money too, like when their contract comes up. And that's what's so crazy too. Like you see guys like Mike Trout who are actually are overall badasses, and it's like, wow.
I didn't even look.
You get mesmerized by it.
Do teams employ? Well, I mean, if
there are some teams employ like the shift on a right-handed hitter.
Yeah,
I've seen it done a few times.
How would you do that?
You just move like the second baseman over more.
Second baseman, short base, or deeper.
Are you playing behind second?
That's what I mean, playing deeper back there. Because that's the weird thing about it is if they're employing a shift on you. I mean, they have analytics now and everything. If they're putting a shift on you, you're hitting the ball in the one spot every time. That's not talent right there, Like,
the thing I don't like about baseball
players used to be able to hit the ball anywhere. Now it's like.
We were watching the game, I think the other day, at Buffalo Wild Wings, Pirates and D-backs, and somebody came into like the dugout, and now they got like iPads in the dugout.
Yeah, that's all the analytics. No, they can watch. Well, Curt Schilling used to have CDs that he would record everything, and then so that was 2001 season when they won the World Series and Curt Schilling was here. He would go and he would have a computer in the dugout, and he would go and be able to pull up whoever, Derek Jeter, and look at all of his at bats and where he hits it and all that stuff. I mean, he did that on his own. But so yeah, now they go in there. It's no different than an NFL quarterback going to the bench and then studying the plays and whether.
And now they have iPads for them. Like that's one of the old still photos, like where they brought the thing, like, hey, so here's what you're doing here. Here's what. All right, so here's like in the middle of the second. Here's right before you called Hut. Here's all right. Here's the first step after Hut. You took 2 steps right here. Now you're on the 4th step.
That's where it's all going, man. It's all going to like instantaneous. Which I mean, that was a debate here and locally for the Diamondbacks when they went to that horrible May, was because they went to him at the end of April and said, guys, we need to start focusing on the pitcher's release point here. So they changed it, and then the Diamondbacks fell apart for them. Now they're getting it back because the media started catching on and bringing it up that all this was going on, and then they kind of fought back a little bit, but now they're hitting it again.
Yeah, like, oh no, that's not going on.
So obviously something changed. Something changed again,
Or the fellow was all like, all right, guys, let's stop focusing on this.
Go back to the way we were.
Get the mind off of it a little bit.
That's the problem with too much information, man. You still got to go out there and play. I mean, Goldschmidt's hitting. I read you that one stat the other day. I mean, he's
he's crushing now. He's crushing now.
But he has like 915 average, and like only Ted Williams has ever been even close to him. And I think he's even bigger than Ted Williams or something.
Oh yeah, he's been crushing the ball now.
What? Hey, so what do you think about today's pop music?
I don't know. It depends on who it is. Like, I can get down, with some, like, Selena Gomez radio on Spotify or some T-Swift radio.
I fall on the side that a lot of it's garbage. But if you're going to comment about how much garbage it is, wouldn't you think you'd have to be good at pop music?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think about Moby?
Moby. I think every bald guy is Moby. When I see a bald guy, I just instantly call him Moby.
The guy, the electronica guy that does
bad.
Electronica stuff, like
shouldn't call him Moby.
He doesn't play instruments. He plays electronic stuff, right?
Am I racist to bald guys?
all white bald guys are Moby.
Yeah. When I say, I'm like, hey, what's up, Moby?
I like how you're pondering that. So Moby, who by the way is one of the worst musicians I think on the planet. Like, I don't understand why this guy's famous and thinks he's God's gift to music.
My best thing about Moby, real quick, is the New Year's Eve episode of How I Met Your Mother. I believe it was like season 1, where they have this like bald guy joins them in the limo, like, Moby is with us. The guy's like, actually, like, he has like a gun and like trying to like blow up the party later on. Show up the party. He's like, oh, you're not Moby? Like, oh, that's weird.
I know. Yeah, everybody does.
I think that's where every bald guy just looks like Moby.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah. But he's awful. Like, his songs are awful. It's all electronica. Like, it's not even music.
I couldn't pick one out for you.
Okay, well, you've heard a few of them. Because it's basically electronic music is what he does. So he goes and he does a Twitter rant, and he says, pop music is terrible. He says that majority of the music in pop music is shallow and trite and unredeemable. And then he says, which is my favorite part, because you gotta love how he like at least laughs at himself. Because then he says, I mean, who should listen to a middle-aged guy complain about the state of pop music, right? So at least he finds himself humorous on that. But I guess my point is like,
Yeah, Moby's 52. He's not middle aged anymore.
I know, yeah. Well, he said he was middle aged, I know, right? But the issue I have here is like Taylor Swift can say pop music sucks today. I'll even give you like Ariana Grande can say it, you know, people that I don't particularly think are good. But Moby complaining that pop music is... Play good music first, man, before you bitch about it.
Here's the thing about Moby that I don't like. His real name is not Moby. It's Richard Melville.
Yeah, I know.
And Moby, he celebrates on one of the saddest days in American history, 9/11, because that's his birthday. So that's sad.
Yeah.
And he's also a veganism.
Yes, he's very environmental. He's very environmentally friendly, left.
Animal rights lover.
Yeah.
Which I love animals, but I'll shoot a deer for some food.
Yeah, I mean, far left. You know, so if you're not into that stuff for politics. But Richard Melville Hall is his name. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Oh.
Melville. That just sounds like a nerd.
I know, right? Well, he
looks the part, you know?
Mm-hmm. So he says, when 99.9% of pop music is utterly cheap and disposable, it's time to go listen to Public Enemy or John Lennon or Led Zeppelin or Nirvana or any of the countless artists who had integrity and actually wanted to change the world and not just make $20 from a streaming service while the apocalypse waits at the door.
He's still upset about Napster, huh?
I know, right? I'm surprised Moby didn't name himself in that. That's what I'm impressed with. I'm surprised he didn't say Moby in there, you know? But I don't know anybody. Like, nowhere in my life has somebody been, you have to listen to this new Moby album, man.
check out this new hit by Moby.
Like, not once in my life has that happened. And I love music, and I've been around a lot of people that love music. And not one person has ever in my life looked at me and mentioned Moby. Like, you gotta listen to this, man. This is brilliantly done.
Check out this new track by Moby, bro.
But anyway, just a stupid rant of how a guy that makes shitty electronic music is like, pop music sucks today. I'm done.
Steve's done. But hey, now it's time for a brand new segment we're introducing this week called Are You Better? And pretty much what this is, Steve gives me 5 names of people who are getting ready to have birthdays this week. And I get to decide if I'm better than them or not. Chances are I probably am. So Steve, let's roll. Who we got?
Nickelback bassist Mike Kroger.
Mike Kroger, the bassist for Nickelback. That's who you want to start this out with.
Yes, I do.
Well, first off, Mike Kroger.
June 25th, by the way, and he'll be 46 years old today.
Hey, there you go.
For another half an hour.
Mike Kroger, phenomenal name. Can't knock the guy on.
I'm assuming his brother is Chad, the lead singer, but I could be wrong.
Could be. Married to Angela Kroger, which she probably got that last name after marrying him. So, I mean, Mike Kroger, he's a bassist. The one thing I do like about bassists is that you usually see a bassist with long hair, Joe Dirt and a cigarette. But here's the thing about Mike Kroger. 1, he does not have long hair.
Sorry.
2, he plays for Nickelback. 3, he's from Canada. Mike Kroger, I'm better than you. Next.
The best part of that is just when I said Mike Kroger, Nickelback bassist, you should have just said Canadian, Nickelback, I'm better than. Like, you went in way too much in-depth analysis on that.
Well,
I like Nickelback.
That's what I give.
You know,
I give analysis.
You know, the 3 million of us that bought Nickelback albums back in the day, which I never did, by the way, but the 3 million of us that bought Nickelback albums back in the day cannot be wrong in this world. You know what I mean? They get a lot of crap, but they sold a lot of records. Not one person bought all those records. I'm just throwing it out there. A lot of closet Nickelback fans out there. Ariana Grande. She is June 26th and will be a spry 25 years old.
All right, a spry. Wow, bringing out the big words for this. So,
yes.
Ariana Grande, she's a pop singer, right? Does some pop music.
Speaking of pop, yes.
American singer.
The reason I dropped her name earlier, yes.
Ariana Grande, she's a fantastic individual, lovely young lady.
Was she the one that licked donuts in the donut store and put them back? I think she was.
Wow. Well, that's terrible.
It's a random fact.
Random factoid
so
that might be right.
I'm so hope I'm correct on that because I just threw her under the bus if it's not her.
Yeah, it was her.
They have it on video too. Like,
apparently, she was off the hook of the donut-licking case that happened back in 2015. It did not go against her criminal record. First off, you don't lick donuts and put them back, Ariana Grande. Second off, you recently got engaged to this gentleman named Pete Davidson.
My favorite comedian lately, I told you.
Pete Davidson, though, you know what he does? He makes jokes about 9/11, and it's still just too soon. Sorry, Ariana Grande, I'm better than you.
Dude, you did not just say that his 9/11 jokes are... I even played that bit for you. Oh, my God.
I didn't laugh. Hey, Steve might laugh at those, but not me. I did not laugh.
Okay, for those of you that know, because it sounds weird now, look up Pete Davidson. But he writes for Saturday Night Live. But his dad was a firefighter.
He writes for Saturday Night Live in 2018. Come on now.
I didn't say he was good on that. I saw his 9/11 joke bit, which at first when I saw it, I was like, oh dear God, this guy is about to get booed off stage. And then you find out why he does 9/11 jokes. It's because his dad was a firefighter in New York, was at 9/11, went up the building, and didn't come home that night. So he was 7 years old, and the jokes are jokes where if anybody else was doing them, you would just be like, this guy is a jerk. But because it was his dad and he went through it, they're pretty dang funny. I'm just throwing it out there. That was a good spit. It was a good thing.
All right, next.
Oh, I'm angry about you saying you don't like his 9/11 jokes. They were good.
Next.
This one might need some explaining for people, because even I had to guess a little bit. I had to wonder who it was. David Garrison, also known as Steve from the early years of Married with Children.
So David Garrison was Steve from the early years of Married with Children.
June 30th, and he'll be 66 years old.
66 years old is young David Garrison. Did they say young when you get that age?
They say young because you're old. So they say young to make you feel good. 66 years young.
So not a lot of people know this about David Garrison, but he's also a singer and some pretty good Broadway films, some musicals. But David Garrison also was married to the lesbian on Married with Children, Marcy.
Marcy Darcy.
And he got replaced by the much hotter, more handsome-looking gentleman. So
that guy saves, like, every time that guy goes, his career was about, his name's Ted something or something, but he replaced a lot of people in shows and stuff like that.
It made him better?
Yeah, they got better when he joined them. Like, that was like his whole thing, like, for a while was, oh, so-and-so, whatever his name is, he's in this show, and all of a sudden the ratings would go through the roof.
Yeah, Ted McGinley joined the cast, season 5 through 11. Yeah. David Garrison, whenever Married with Children comes on late night, when it's Steve, I fall asleep. So David Garrison...
Did he leave on his own, or was he fired?
I don't know, but I'm better than him.
Oh, yeah, I think everybody's better than him.
Yeah.
Remember he was Marcy's, like she did whatever she said, like he was afraid. Yeah. They worked in the bank together, But, she would, tell him to do something, and he would be like, yes, okay, and he was, whooped or whatever, But I was mainly impressed that he's such a theater guy, But he was Steve Rhodes. Oh, that's right, Marcy Darcy. That was the other guy's name. Yeah, Steve Rhodes. No, he left the show after 4 seasons because he wanted to go back to
Broadway.
Broadway, live theater. So,
well, good for him. Still better.
So, is he gay also? Because
his pictures they don't look the best, but yeah, sure.
I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just curious, So, okay, so you're better than him, of course. My favorite, Gary Busey.
Gary Busey. Gary Busey has had a long career. Actually, all got started back in 1967 with The Love Ends. Played a hippie with a loudspeaker, uncredited in that movie, of course. But hey, right?
You could tell we both looked up Gary Busey before we brought this one up.
I did not. I know all about Gary Busey. This man he's had a phenomenal career.
I thought he won an Academy Award, but he didn't. He was only nominated.
Yeah, he was nominated. Did not win that Academy Award. He did win a National Society of Film Critics Award for Best Actor for his play, for him portraying Buddy Holly in The Buddy Holly Story, of course, back in 1978. But you know what else Gary Busey did? Actually, yeah, I guess didn't do. Back in the 1993 film Rookie of the Year, Gary Busey, known as Chet Steadman, bringing in the cheese. You know what happened to old Chet Steadman in that movie? He got showed up by a 12-year-old. Something a pitcher should never get shown up by is a 12-year-old. So Gary Busey, I'm better than you.
This bit is so ridiculous.
Well, give me somebody who I'm not better than. I'm waiting.
Okay. I can go on with Gary Busey and argue he's better than you, but we'll just skip that. Lethal Weapon. Hit his face in a motorcycle accident. Not only lived, has brain damage, and is like crazier than crazy right now, but you still would like a loving uncle. Like you'd still love him. Terry Funk.
Terry Funk.
Hold on. Does anybody else besides Jason know who Terry Funk is? Because I was like, who?
Hey, our wrestling fans in the audience, they know who Terry Funk is. Because Terry Funk...
Hold on, June 30th, and he'll 74.
Getting ready to turn 74. Born in Hammond, Indiana. Resides in Amarillo, Texas. Went to West Texas State University at old Terry Funk. This man held the ECW World Heavyweight Championship, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, the USWA United World Heavyweight Championship, the WWF World Tag Team titles, ECW World Television Championship. He headlined the ECW's premier annual pay-per-view event, November to Remember, 3 times, and has also been inducted into multiple Hall of Fames, WWE's, WCW's, and NWA's. And that wasn't even his best work. His best work came as the permed up bouncer in Roadhouse, known as Morgan. So Terry Funk, you are better than me.
Yeah, if you would have said that you were better than the guy that played a bouncer in Roadhouse, I was gonna just get up and walk out.
Nope, can't do that.
Yeah. So yeah.
There's always barber school.
Oh my god. I gotta watch Roadhouse. I haven't seen it in so long.
Roadhouse.
Yeah, okay, Peter, settle down, Peter.
Roadhouse.
He was in the All Japan Pro Wrestling from 72 to 91.
No, yeah, he kept flying back and forth, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's crazy.
because those were in the days where he it was all territorial. Back in those days, so started out in your territory, and then you had to go.
Oh, you had to work your way up, right?
Yeah. So you started.
Yeah, he was NWA Championship Wrestling in Florida.
Yeah. So you started your territory or whatever, and you had to travel. You're this guy. It was no work your way up. WCW wasn't. WCW was more of a South Territory thing back then. It was known as NWA.
Yeah, back then, yeah.
WWE, it was its deal, but it wasn't
because
it wasn't actually the bigger deal back then.
You know why he's better than you too? Is he actually survived the Japan and King of the Death match tournament? Because he didn't die in 94, 95. He survived,
dude,
which means he survived death.
He was one of the original hardcore guys. Dude was just an all around badass.
I have no idea.
Tables, barbed wire matches. This guy didn't care.
Though,
and that's the best part about Terry Funk is he had long hair. He had it his later years, a lot I saw, but he had the long hair. He moved all slow, but he would still, hit you with a steel chair. He'd take steel chair shots. Also known as Chainsaw Charlie,
yes.
Teaming up with Cactus Jack. I mean, the guy won the Juggalo Championship Wrestling title. For those of you who don't know, the Juggalo Championship Wrestling was a promotion. Why are you laughing?
Because I'm reading about this guy and I'm just like, wow.
It was put on by
this guy's better than you.
The Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah, I read about that one.
Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J.
Yep.
So yeah, guys.
Yep.
That's who's better than me.
He was in 1991 episode of Quantum Leap.
Fantastic episode, by the way.
Quantum Leap was an awesome show when I was a kid, man.
That's why he's better.
He'd jump into bodies and then solve their problems and then jump out. Oh, it was awesome.
Best brawler in 1989. Best heel in 1989.
I know.
Best interviews in 1989.
Best on interviews in 1989.
Feud of Ric Flair in that year.
Feud of the year, 1989. 1989 was a good year for him.
We gotta go back and watch some 89 Terry Funk videos on the network.
Can you imagine how like awful that, WWF Tag Team Championship one time with Cactus Jack.
Yep, when he was Chainsaw Charlie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is that why? So Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack.
They were the hardcore guys doing their thing.
The cat, Haley, didn't seem too impressed with him.
Nobody's impressed. The guy had a 50-year career.
I know. St. Louis Wrestling Club, St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, class of 2010, baby. Oh my God, it's hilarious.
It's phenomenal.
So, do you believe in ghosts?
Somewhat. Not really. I don't know. Like, I've been in encounters where it's like, oh, that's scary, and it's like, ghosts aren't real. I mean, ghosts are a lot more believable than stupid black cat hoax. Stupid black cat, get out of here.
She just crossed our paths. I don't know. We might be paying the price now. So, a lot of the baseball teams, when they travel to Milwaukee, they stay in a hotel called the Pfister Hotel.
The old Pfister Hotel. Yes, I love that place.
P-F-I-S-D, by the way.
Oh, okay.
That's not what you were thinking.
Wrong Pfister.
So, the only reason I bring it up is, how baseball players are. A little out there, a lot of them. Very superstitious, things like that. And it's regarded as a haunted hotel. And the Cardinals were, a couple weeks ago, were in town to play the Brewers, so they stayed there. And there's actually, they Instagram this, where 5 players, all Spanish speaking, so I don't know if they're from wherever, they're Instagramming how they saw a ghost in their room, one of them. So then they pans around, and there's 5 baseball players sitting in a room, scared to death that they're gonna see more ghosts and everything.
That's just crazy. Like, baseball players do that. Like, because baseball is one of those like very what's the word? They're always what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think of the word. When something's going, they're very
superstitious.
Yeah, superstitious. There you go. Couldn't think of the word.
So
that's gotta throw you off, right? You see a ghost.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but. My best part of this story is he does it all in Spanish, so obviously somebody did it, but he says in Spanish in his Instagram post, "We are all here," meaning in Francisco Peña's room. "We are all stuck here," so it's like 5 of them. "We are going to sleep together. If the ghost shows again, we are all going to fight together." He's taking this crap serious, man.
Like, there's like old guys, like they got a curfew, and they're like, "Oh, get in here."
So I just found that funny because baseball players are weird, and I've heard that story about that hotel a lot. People have seen it, but there are players that actually will pay to stay elsewhere, not stay in that hotel because of the supposed ghosts and everything. So Pablo Sandoval, Jason Hayward, and Justin Upton have all paid their own way to stay somewhere else, so they don't have to stay in that hotel on there. So I just find that fascinating I've stayed in haunted hotels, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, I heard noises," or whatever. It's just old. Like, up in Jerome when I went up there earlier, we stayed in that one. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, the 3rd floor is the scariest." And that's the floor, of course, we were on. I slept like a baby.
Do you think this is like the ghost of like an old like Brewers player?
No, it's actually no, it's not. It's the ghost of the Pfister dude that owned it or whatever.
So it's not Doug Pfister?
Is he an old Brewers player?
No, he's not. I don't know who his dad was.
No, it's something to do with the guy that owned it back then and everything. It's one of those fancy, hotels in Milwaukee. It's been around for 150 years or something ridiculous like that. It's right downtown by everything. It's down by the Bronze Fawns, actually, which, if you want to waste a good hour in Milwaukee like I did one time, you can go get your picture with the Bronze Fawns, because I've done that.
Love it.
It's awesome. No, it's just one of those old school hotels. I think they embraced the ghost thing there too and everything. But I just find it weird that baseball teams, professional baseball teams,
like they still stay there.
Yeah, so why would you even, just knowing how baseball players are, where some of them refuse to stay there because of it?
Well, maybe they stayed there one time like during the World Series run that the Cardinals had. So like, oh, we got to stay at this hotel every time we go to Milwaukee.
And so every team stays there? No, it's like every team stays there. Sure. That's the thing. Like, you know, I shouldn't say, I don't know every team does, but obviously the Cardinals do. I know the Diamondbacks do. I believe San Diego does. Because I was reading this big thing earlier this year about players that, you know, players that wouldn't stay there because they were afraid they'd see a ghost. Like, they won't even go to meetings in the hotel. They're so scared of the place, seeing ghosts and everything. So, I'm assuming the thing on ghosts like poltergeists and stuff that used to, hasn't that been pretty much debunked, that they don't exist? Like, stuff happens, but it's amazing. I guess people still think that the world's flat, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised by
a lot
that.
of NBA players do. Gosh, you watch like NBA players and it's just, man, these guys are stupid. You watch like the NFL draft compared to the NBA draft, like
oh my god,
it's like night and day. Like,
you want to get into that for a second?
We'll get into that later.
Oh my god,
we don't have enough time.
Trae Young was like watching, like, oh my god, that guy. Holy cow, watching him talk was like a chore, man.
Have fun with that one.
Like, oh my dear god. You know, he's wearing the pants shorts, and it was just, I mean, football players aren't known to be the smartest people on the planet either.
Well, there are some who are like, they just surprise you with their smartness, right? Like,
yeah, I think the problem is especially in the NBA, is even in college, you don't get a lot of training in college basketball to be in front of the media like that for the most part. It's
crazy to think that, like, right now in today's game, I think one of the smartest NBA players is actually the guy who didn't go to college, and LeBron James. Like, hearing his interviews, like, they're so, like, you know, he, like, enunciates, you know, he kind of articulates everything that goes on through the game.
But he was trained that way, though, you know, like, he knew that at an early age. But he was doing those ESPN interviews when he was in high school.
Right.
That's what I mean, like, name a time where you saw Trae Young doing it. I mean, besides after a game at the podium, which is kind of your element, you know, like they walk into those and can talk because that's their element. They're used to that. But just like in a draft situation or just whatever, you know, like Trae Young probably isn't trained in that yet or anything. And it was just excruciating watching him trying to, like, express himself. And he wasn't the only one. He's just the one that comes to mind because, you know, his pants shorts, his pantsuit short.
You got a picture on stage and a Mavericks hat. Damn it.
Yeah, right. On that. So, hey, the other thing I wanted to bring up, I know we're kind of long today, but the World Cup, man, I've been watching that, you know, every morning. So we have the round of 16 starts on Saturday, this Saturday, the 30th for us. So we're going to do our World Cup update video and everything probably Friday and have it up. So we're going to actually preview once everybody gets picked here and who going on to the round. I know only 4 teams are through now, but we are going to do our preview on Friday and go through and pick winners, because both of our picks, Germany and Argentina, are pretty close to not making it. They're going to make it, I think, but they're made us sweat a little bit.
Whatever, I'm on Croatia now. That's my team.
Oh, they're in
the finals.
It's like, oh my dear God.
No, didn't you have a Bachelor story to give here before we went?
I got a couple other stories here, yes.
Oh.
A couple of quick ones. But I just want to do the World Cup. But the other reason I bring up the World Cup is you hate replay and want it to go away. Mm-hmm. So, 2 ways it worked today. One, in the Spain game, they were down 2-1 and they needed to win to move on. They're still not officially moved on, but they needed to win. And they scored a goal and the ref called them offsides. And they went back and looked at it, and he wasn't offside, so it benefited them on that. And then in the other game,
see, that's not bad, but the World Cup's also using it for, like, penalties and stuff. So you'll see, like, somebody go down with, like, a kick, and they'll be like, hang on, like 5 minutes later, like, oh, look, we reviewed this. It happened.
So Portugal's up 1-0 in stoppage time, the 91st minute. There's like 4 more minutes of stoppage time. A ball gets crossed into the middle. Portugal guy, they both go up for a header, and the guy for I can't remember who they played now. I watched it this morning and all of a sudden just forgot it.
Spain?
My brain just said no.
Or you were talking about Spain earlier?
Portugal, yeah. Portugal was playing Iran. 2 guys went up for a header. The Iran guy got the ball, headed it down, and the Spain guy was coming down and his arms were up, hit him in the left arm. Well, they kept playing. Then the ref stopped it because, in his ear they said stop it. They went to the replay, penalty kick because the guy handballed it in the box, and then it ended 1-1.
See, that I don't like.
Yeah.
I like the offside call.
Yeah, because it was the right call, and then Portugal, and it saved Portugal, but it saved Spain, but it screwed Portugal. I mean, it was the right call. The guy handballed it in the thing, but it screws Portugal too because nobody saw it on the field, and a video replay is what caught it. A couple minutes later on that.
Video replay.
Well, at least Portugal's. Spain and Portugal are. They're going to go on. They just have to win or tie their next game. So they should have won or two the division there. But, just the fact that... And it was Iran's first World Cup, and they were eliminated today and whatnot. But, if they could have... if Portugal would have won that game, they would be in this first spot. Now Spain is. And so if Spain wins, they go through in the first spot, which actually leads to the second round. So the VAR, even though it was the right call after the thing, it was just so late and everything. Nobody saw it on the field. Right. So bringing that up for you to make you feel good about yourself. So the other reason, another sign that the New England Patriots are the devils of the NFL, by the way, Jason.
Yes.
Is scientists have found an unexpected thing underneath New England. A huge mass of molten rock is creeping upwards beneath the nation's northeastern states, specifically Massachusetts, Vermont, and New Hampshire. So I'm just throwing this out there that a volcano is forming underneath New England. Just another sign that Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots and their evil ways are coming back to haunt the world.
Volcanoes are starting to erupt on the East Coast. That's crazy. That's possible.
Just out of nowhere, and there's no active volcanoes in that area. None. And molten lava is coming up. Tell me again that Bill Belichick did not sell his soul to the devil, and now it's coming home to roost. That's what I'm throwing out there.
But he is Satan, and he's gonna come out with his fire breathing dick.
Yeah. So I just further evidence that nothing exists under the ground. Bill Belichick and the Patriots do all this weird stuff, and they're there. Just food for thought, Jason. And then a few weeks ago, we talked about the fetish, the S&M fetish thingy that was not allowed to be at the Vegas place. So now they're doing it at the Vegas S&M museum. Remember that? Well, I don't know why these stories pop up in my feed. I swear there's not a reason for it. But all aboard the torture ship, the world's biggest bondage and fetish boat orgy, where hundreds of leather lovers romp the night away. So every year, the kinky German boat trip attracts adventurous BDSM fans from around the globe. This video, which I'm not going to watch because I don't want to.
Thank you. You're going to get all sorts of cookies.
There's a lot of pictures that are even weirder and everything. So basically, it sets sail for Lake Constance, which borders Austria and Switzerland, and it leaves from Germany. So I just want to let you know about it, Jason, in case you want to go.
No, I'm good. I'm good there. I've done some kinky stuff, but never done the leather bondage thing.
Oh my god, that picture. Oh my god, I gotta quit scrolling through these pictures. What the... the foreign newspapers are not shy to post things. Let's just put it that way. Not like America. I did not just need to see that picture right there.
What was that noise?
That was me kicking the table.
Yeah, well, you weren't kicking it.
Yeah, I just saw the naked guy.
That was your penis.
Old naked guy. No, not after seeing that. I think I'm broken for a while after watching what I've seen. What I just saw. So you're a Bachelor fan?
Well, I'm a Bachelor. I don't think I'm a Bachelor fan. I actually went on a date the other night with this girl who was I was like, so you got any guilty pleasures? She's like, oh, I watch the horrible reality shows. I love The Bachelor and Bachelorette. I was like, why? And she's like, oh, it's just, them finding love. I was like, it's not really love. I actually found up these stats today, actually.
Oh, share them, because I know them too. But
sure, I will share some stats with you here. So,
Jason, ruin all the romantic gestures of 30 people vying for one man over 1 month, and how romantic it is for the world. I'm ready.
So, of the 22 seasons of The Bachelor, only one couple is still together. Couldn't tell you their names. Only one, though. of the 13 seasons of Bachelorette, there's actually 6 couples still together. That's 7 out of 35 seasons. So if this was Major League Baseball, right now they're batting 200.
It's not bad.
Well, I guess today's baseball.
It's better than Avila for the Diamondbacks. Catcher.
But yeah.
Well, I don't.
So the odds just aren't there.
I don't understand why.
7 out of 35.
I don't know how many people they start with, 12 or 15 or 20 or something.
Stupid.
I don't see how 20 people, let's just say 10. I don't see how 10 people living in a house vying for one person's thing over a month where they do nothing but that. Oh, what could go wrong in that relationship, Jason?
Right.
Yeah, right? Stable enough.
I'd have too many questions about, like, so what'd you do with him? And then you watch it, like, you bitch, you told me you didn't kiss him.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like, they're literally, like, on, like... I have a saying that, like, I don't even share food from my plate. And, like, they're literally talking in, like, one part, like, can I talk to you for a minute? And they go to another room. They're, like, making out and everything. Then they go out, and then he goes out with another, he goes in another room with another girl, and they're, like, making out. And I'm just like...
I feel we're talking to a girl at the bar who is, like, around guy friends, you know?
Yeah, right? So, like, I'm like, I don't even share, like, food off my plate. You want me to, like... 20 different girls. Like, some people are like, this would be heaven, and I think
why is your boob still wet?
I think that'd be
the other guy's spit.
I think it'd be absolute hell for me. But anyway, they've had sexual assault allegations before. Shocker.
Didn't see that one coming.
Another one has arisen. Yeah,
on this season, on the newest season.
Yeah. ABC has pulled the second episode of The Proposal. Because a woman accused one of the contestants of facilitating other men and raping her. So basically, he was a pimp, is what she's claiming. Like, he didn't do it, but he was like, yeah, go ahead, woo! So, according to a Facebook post that's gone viral, so you get all your sex abuse things on Facebook.
That's on Facebook and Twitter now.
Yeah, I know, right?
Thank you, Uber.
So the series, which airs Monday nights after The Bachelorette, began promoting a different episode on social media after taking down promotions for the episode starring the man in question.
Oh.
So they're going to star him that week.
Oh, I see.
And then it came out, and now all of a sudden they had to pull it.
So they showed, like, season, like, the hidden episode of The Survivor?
I don't know about that, but here's the other thing. Bachelorette contestant Lincoln Adim, Adim.
Sounds like a straight shooter.
Guess what color he is?
Not entirely white. Dark brown, but pretty brown.
I'm just throwing it out there that... Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
All right, good talk. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening to the Main Event Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at the Main Event Pod. Don't forget this Friday, we're coming out with a video for our round of 16 World Cup preview. Make sure you keep us up on Twitter at the Main Event Pod, on Facebook as well as Main Event Pod. You can also follow me on Twitter at JasonCarter03. Follow Steve at SMac500, and we're on Snapchat, Instagram, all that stuff at the same handles. So yeah, thank you for listening. God bless you. God bless the troops, and God bless America. That was an hour 41.
I know, dude. I was like...